Welcome to Dirty Fanatics United. Fans, Falcon Nations, welcome to Dirty Fanatics United. If you're new to the channel, hit that like button. Be sure to ring the bell so you know when our content drops. And be sure to hit the subscribe button, guys. We're on the road to 1K, and we cannot do it without you guys. So be sure to hit that subscribe button. I am your host, C-Money, a.k.a. they call me Chase. Follow my co-host, Cody, tonight, and my guy, Rick James, is here to talk Falcon football. Falcon fans, tap in, bring the comments. Bring your questions about this year's training camp so far. Day 3 or 4, I think it's day 4 now, I believe it is, for the players. Day 3 for the public. So very excited times to be a Falcon fan because, guys, football is here. You can taste it. It's here. I've been here all weekend covering it, and it's exciting. I'm ready to get into it. Cody, what's going on, man? It's been a kind of a long stretch since our last podcast. Now we have news to talk about. Cody, what's going on?
Yeah, man, just busy during the work week. Unfortunately, you didn't make it out to camp just yet. Hopefully, maybe next week or whenever the next one is. But, man, I'm just excited to see, what limited, videos there have been out because I know they're not allowed to do a whole, really any filming out at practice right now. But, man, football is definitely in the air, man. I'm so ready for it.
Cody, you speak on the recording at practice. That was a big no-no this year, man. That was one rule they emphasized very big. Thursday we got there. I had the gimbal pod, the tripod thing and all, and they're like, hey, do you have your media credentials? And it's like, no media credentials. Can't have that. So no recording on the hill for fans. They were telling people throughout the whole entire training camp, reminding people, pictures only, no camera lenses added onto your camera. So Falcons doing their part of keeping the plays. I don't know. It's really been a rule every year, but this year's really been entitled to no camera. What's going on, man? Training camp is here. Reports are coming out. The 11-on-11s have happened. There's no pads on yet, but Rick, what's going on, man? A lot to talk about tonight. Shout out real quick to Southside Ricky here. First one in the comment would it say, what's going on? Southside, glad to have you here tonight, brother. Hit that like button. I think you muted, brother.
Yep. So
Southside Ricky says, name one vet and one rookie that impressed each of you. From training camp perspective, a rookie that impressed me, man. See, it's hard because you have 2 that you selected in the first round. You have 2 guys that you grabbed. You traded back in for James Pierce Jr., but the guy to me that has stole the show, Southside, is James Pierce Jr. Reports coming out of camp today, James Pierce Jr. bringing the heat when it really mattered, even when it got heated on the field with Caleb McGarry. And we're going to get into those of what happened today at training camp. But James Pierce Jr., that's the rookie that I say has outstanding to me. Jaylen Walker did not participate in practice today. They had him off to the side working by himself. So that's important, something to watch. I mean, they say it's nothing serious, so I'm going to trust the coach and what they say in that. But James Pierce Jr. to me would be the rookie that has impressed so far into training camp. Can't wait to see what happens when James Pierce puts on some pads, man, because there's been multiple times. Obviously, they won't hit the quarterback, but there's a lot of times where Pennix is looking for that deep ball, and James Pierce is in the pocket already. It's a sack. It would have been a sack. So it's like,
yo, how about now?
Yep.
Back in the game. All right. Tried something new. See what happens when you try something new? Shit.
It'd be like that. So really, Cody, it's a thing where, because I've seen packages this weekend where it's James Pierce on the left, Jaylen Walker on the right, and it's been like that numerous times throughout camp. And you see a heavy rotation of Rook Ohurohu and David Onamata and Morgan Fox there at that nose guard. A lot of key positions that the Falcons have yet to signify who's starting that position and who's going to rotate what where. Morgan Fox is another veteran that impresses me so far into camp. really giving Ryan Uziel, not Ryan Uziel, Ryan Uziel, the center, really giving him a tough go there. Ryan Uziel standing his ground as well. It's a tough battle, man. You're talking about two vets there going at it head to head. So rookie James Pierce Jr., a vet would be Ryan Uziel and probably Morgan Fox. That's the two vets on my list. And another, what you could say, kind of a vet, we'll call it a player on the rise just because of how last season ended for him. DeMarco Hellams with a lot of forced fumbles already into camp. DeMarco Hellams looking very nice. 2 of those forced fumbles against the man himself, Drake London, Saturday. So, guys, a lot of battling happening right now. Who knows? Does Hellams take the safety spot? Does Xavier take the safety spot? Who knows what's going to happen when it comes to that position? But that's a very good question from Southside. Guys, if you want to, maybe input on that question, that's a great question from Southside.
Yeah, unfortunately, like I say, I hadn't been to training camp yet, but, the early news that I've kind of heard is that Billy Bowman, man, is really impressing. Has run with the ones all week and was the only rookie, not Jaylen, not Pierce Jr., but it's been Billy Bowman. So I definitely think that's, what I'm kind of excited about to see. He's obviously got something. The coaches aren't just putting him over there for the fun of it. I was to say, the other thing I'm seeing too is it looks like Michael Pennix, Harry Douglas, I saw tweeted out that Michael Penix's arm strength and accuracy is
it's crazy good.
It's crazy good, and that he's going to be special. So
this is what's so cool about camp, Cody, because you see, obviously at any training camp, any practice, any warm up before a game, you'll see both quarterbacks with their second string, first string, and right now the number 1 offense goes against the 2 defense, and the number 1 defense goes against the number 2 offense. So you're watching Kirk Cousins throw this ball, and you're like, my God, dude, Kirk's got such a pretty ball. And you can see it. You see it now, how much healthier Kirk looks now at the point that he was last year when you came into training camp. But then you look at the guy you just drafted, the guy that only played 3 to 4 games last year and is throwing the exact ball, but even prettier at so early of a stage in his career. And it's like, dude, do we want to let Kirk go? Like, we had this in our back pocket. You have a guy like Kirk that could step in if Pennix happened to go down. So, and from reports out of Flowery Branch, Kirk Cousins has been nothing but professional when it comes to this training camp and leading up to where we're at in this point of the season. So, Rick, your thoughts on, a rookie and a vet that has impressed you throughout reports coming out of Flowery Branch?
Just listening to a couple of guys. I wouldn't necessarily consider these guys vets. In the NFL, they consider like third-year players as vets at this point, right? Because they say careers last 4 years. So I like hearing how spicy Bergeron has been. I think that's the kind of player he was when he came in. So I've heard a lot about that. Yes, and then I watched the Mic'd Up, and I heard a lot of praise. Well, I saw Rook coming in. Rook, I still kind of rookie-ish, even though he's in his second season. But TQ, I thought
Taquan Graham. That's a great one, Rick.
I thought Taquan Graham was a big-time player the last year or two. I think he made some big plays, and I noticed him when he was on the D-line. I was like, man, there's something about Graham. And then when he was injured, he was kind of like Kevin King. When Kevin King got injured, you noticed the difference. You couldn't quite put it, but you're like, something changed here. So, I like seeing TQ making some plays. So overall, I just like hearing the feistiness of the team on the defense. I think that's the thing that I've missed. Now, I will say, kind of a little off topic, the one player I haven't heard about at all, which I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing, is Diablo. And so I'm kind of concerned, because I have not heard anyone talk about him at all.
From what I've seen, Rick, they've almost – okay, so we all know Troy Anderson enters another training camp on the physically unable to perform list. A guy that was once, going to get that green dot on the defense not too long ago when Ryan Uziel was in town. Now you look at the fact that Diablo comes in, and to me, it almost seems as if Diablo may just be the mic of this defense when it really comes down to it. From what I'm seeing, I don't know if it's hey, does Diablo fit this scheme? Where are we going to play Diablo? But every snap, Diablo has had the mic, and he's really, from what I've seen, looked pretty swell. But once again, pads are not on, so we don't know what the pressure rate looks like right now. But I've seen a lot more Diablo than I expected to see this early on in training camp.
because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, last year Kaden Ellis had the mic most of the time.
Yep.
Maybe Bertrand came in for a second here and there, but does that kind of allude to that Kaden Ellis is going to be on the line pressuring the quarterback a lot, and they need the mic to be in the middle of the field?
The amount of linebacker blitz packages that I've watched this early in training camp, you best believe Kaden Ellis is a straight quarterback rusher, and that I truly believe that. And if Troy Anderson comes back as well, that Diablo is your drop back. Walker obviously is going to drop back probably 60% of coverage because he did so in college. So you have a drop back in Jaylen Walker, you have a drop back in Diablo, and you have a pressure rate with Troy Anderson and no other than Kaden Ellis. And we all know if Kaden Ellis takes hot and really gets going, and I don't know if you guys watched the mic'd up of Jeff Ulbrich, but that was a specific trait that Jeff Ulbrich was working with Kaden Ellis on. It was quit with the hands. Let's burst through the line and let's get to the quarterback. It was almost like dropping hints. Hey, Kaden Ellis, you're for the quarterback every play. So
yeah, he said,
I definitely believe that.
With the lineman, quit playing with them, just go.
Yeah, get there. He's like, look at Bobby Wagner. Take example of what Bobby Wagner's done throughout his career, and portray that here. Quit with the hands. Let's get through the line. So I'm excited to see what Kaden Ellis, and not only what Kaden Ellis brings, but what Jeff Ulbrich brings to the defense. Because to me, the mentality and the vibe at practice is so much better than what it was with Jimmy Lake. And we all know, as a first-time DC or a first-time coach at all in the NFL, it's a big limb to step out on. So no shots at Jimmy Lake, but I can just see the professionalism in Jeff Ulbrich and how he operates with his people. As far as whether it's hitting the dummies or whatever, Jeff Ulbrich is in there with them. So shout out to Georgia.
He has that aura about him. You can feel his aura, like, I've been here before. I'm the guy. So, I like that.
Well, that's the difference between having a first-year defensive coordinator and having a guy that's been around and has been there, done that. So, man, I can't wait, dude.
It's going to be, I think it's going to be an exciting season, man. Georgia Texas boys said, what's happening in DFU and Falcons family? The new era is here. The Atlanta Falcons will rise in 2025 and beyond.
I'm really curious to see, since we're talking about linebackers, the most comfortable I felt with the Falcons linebacking core is when Debo was running sideline to sideline, because I'd see him beat Kamara to the point, beat him to the first down, and make that tackle. And I haven't seen that. Troy Anderson was making it happen. We saw it. We were like, damn, Troy's fast. Like, he can make. And then when we didn't have that, they were beating us around the corner every time. We were getting killed with that short shit. So I'm curious to see if Divine Diablo. And when I looked at some of his highlights when we first picked him up, I kind of saw that he was making tackles. So that's the thing that I want to see. Like, okay, if we're going to blitz with our linebackers, like, who's going to cover them out the backfield and don't let Kamara eat us up or whatever.
Absolutely. Shout out to Georgia Texas boy. Appreciate the comment. Shout out to Vocal Vike here, a Vikings fan in the comment section with it. Shout out to that. Hit that subscribe button, brother. No matter if you're a Falcon fan or an NFL fan, we always do a around the league topic when the season hits. So it may just so happen we talk about the Vikings one night. So shout out to Vocal Vike. He says, as a Vikings fan, I was a huge fan of Kobe Bryant. How is he looking out there? So Kobe Bryant, let's speak on Kobe Bryant. Had the pleasure of meeting Kobe Bryant, the man himself. Really cool cat, guys. Probably now on my list of favorite Falcons. So Kobe Bryant, definitely a cool guy. Shout out to him. I understand exactly why you were a huge fan of him, because he's definitely a man of the people, guys. He's not even a starter. Matter of fact, he's not even out there practicing right now. He's on the PUP list, physically unable to perform. He was on the third field today, going through workouts. So the depth is so big on this team. Don't be surprised if you see a player like Kobe Bryant maybe take a practice squad selection to be on a roster in the NFL in his first season here. So excited to see what Kobe Bryant brings to the table. Excited to see how he represents Atlanta, because the guy has fire and he wants to prove a point. Just chatting with him Saturday, Kobe Bryant has the heart that if every player on the Falcon had, we would be Super Bowl winners for sure, because Kobe Bryant definitely wants to succeed in this league. And I must say, guys, you would be surprised at how many Falcon fans was pushing past the rope to get to Kobe Bryant. Like, it was crazy. It was like this guy was our first round selection or something. So definitely love for Kobe Bryant in Atlanta already in such an early part of his career. Shout out to Vocal Vike for the comment. Southside Ricky says, could any of you see James Pierce Jr. with a defensive rookie of the year? I know I could. You're talking about a guy that was the highest pressure rate up under. It was one. What was the top? There was a top guy that came out. I don't even know, because I was
Carter.
Abdul Carter. Yeah, James Pierce Jr. was ranked right there with Abdul Carter in pressure rates throughout his college career. So I think it's a possibility. I think James Pierce Jr. maybe could even have. Now, Falcon fans may not like what I'm about to say, and it may come back to bite me later on down the road. But I think James Pierce may have a higher ceiling than Jaylen Walker, and that's just because of and when I say that, I mean as in, could this be a guy that brings you Vic Beasley numbers when he's hot? Like, could James Pierce be a guy that brings you double-digit sacks every year, like a Myles Garrett, like these Aaron Darnolds, these big name Max Crosby, these type of guys? Could James Pierce Jr. be that style of player? And you have your Jaylen Walkers, you have your, I mean, you look at in the past, you had your Deion Jones. Those players come and go. You have your, at one time it was Keith Brookins. You have players like that throughout your organizations that come and go. But who can really solidify history here in Atlanta? Could James Pierce Jr. be that guy? And I think he could. I think that guy could be the difference maker when it comes to getting to the quarterback this year.
I got a question for you, Chase, since you were out there. I would say, did you happen to watch any of the kicking battle? How was Coup looking?
Cody. So I selected this one article officially. Shout out to Coup. I got a picture with Coup. I want to throw that up. Real cool guy, as always. The man Coup. The fan goes crazy when Coup walks up. It sounds like everybody's booing, but we're all cooing. When you see Coup on the field. Shout out to Coup. Always a class act. But the article here states that today, and this was, let's see, let me find it out. Let's see where it went. Now, from what I've seen, Cody, if you're asking me from what I've seen, I didn't attend this morning. I left out Atlanta pretty early this morning. Right. But this was a report. From what I've seen Saturday, Coup was making 50, 55 yarders. Obviously, nobody in front of him. This is just Coup and what's his name? The other cat, Lenny Craig. I can't say his last name, but we'll call him Lenny. Lenny's a nice kicker, guys. I think that's your international player that they signed to the roster last season. But from what this article says, Coup versus Lenny, the kicker battle. It says kicker is one of the hardest positions on the field to evaluate because so much of what makes a great kicker is under performance pressure. Anybody can make a three-foot putt, but can you do it under pressure? If the kicking battle was held today and today only, Younghoe Coup would be out of a job. The veteran Falcons kicker hit a 55-yarder in the wind, but followed it with a shank that went far right, landing to the right hash mark more than once. Lenny, whom the Falcons signed as part of the NFL International Pathway Program, stepped up after Coup and not only hit all of his kicks, he hit a 50 and a 56-yard attempt in a way that looked like they would have been good from 80 yards or plus.
Damn.
Lenny is coming with the heat, my guys. It says, baseball scouts talk about the ball sounding different off the bat. That's how today looked versus Saturday with Coup and Lenny. Falcons could save $2 million this year and $3.5 million next year if they turn to Lenny instead of Coup. It's a distant possibility, but it's something that the Flower Branch Falcons must consider. So there it is. I mean, you got position battles everywhere, and we talked about it. We talked about it heading into training camp. What position battles were position battles that fans didn't know about? And could this potentially be a position battle that most fans are overlooking? Because when you look at, Coup had a bad year last year. It wasn't his greatest year, but you look at the years prior, what Coup did here in Atlanta and what meaningful games Coup won you in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. So are you ready to turn that chapter, or are you still, you know what I mean? Like, that's a tough decision for Raheem and Terry to consider when it comes to, and really you're going to get that answer, Cody, when I think preseason comes, because you're going to get to see this Lenny guy. Right. You're going to get to see him kick these field goals. So we'll see how it shakes out, see how he does in game time performances. But what do you guys think here about Southside's comment of James Pierce Jr. Rick? Do you see a defensive rookie year out of James Pierce, or is this more of a, hey, let's get 5 sacks and let's kind of just close the season out and prove that you were a first-round draft pick?
So, most defensive player of the years in recent years are turnover machines. They're getting a lot of interceptions early on. I can't remember the cornerback's name off the top of my head from Dallas. So if JPJ does get defensive rookie of the year, I think that's 8+ sack season. And if that happens, then I think the Falcons are at least in the second round of the playoffs, because that means everything's clicked, because they're not even counting on him necessarily to be that big time of a player. Right. If he makes that level of impact with Leonard Floyd. And another thing, kind of alluding to what you talked about JPJ, kind of, does he have a higher ceiling compared to Jaylen Walker? Jaylen Walker might be the glue. He might be the player that's making all the plays. He might be the leader on the field, and JPJ is just getting the numbers. So don't think that was a disrespect to Jaylen Walker at all. It's just he may not be in position to do that. He may be roaming the field and all that type of thing. Where JPJ is just like straight after the QB. But man, I hope that happens. I hope that happens even more than Jaylen Walker, because I think the floor on Jaylen Walker is higher. I think right now I can count on Jaylen Walker starting guaranteed on the line. He's playing day one. JPJ maybe not.
That was even a statement from Kurt. You talk about how professional and mature Jaylen Walker is early in his career. Kirk Cousins in training camp, he even stated how when you talk to these rookies that enter the league, you talk to Jaylen Walker and it's like you have to step back and realize this guy's dad's a coach. Like he's grown up around this his whole life. So definitely Jaylen Walker, you got everything as far as the ball player and the academic and the head smart in Jaylen Walker. So reports came out of Flower Branch today. We're going to get all these comments. Comments are flowing in, man. Shout out to everybody that's here. Y'all hit that like button. Tag a Falcon friend. Shout out to everybody with the comments. Keep them coming. We're going to go through every one of them. Real quick, reports came out today. There were the questioning when it came to the draft, why James Pierce Jr. was sliding. What was the reason for James Pierce Jr. to slide so far to 26, I believe it was, when the Falcons traded back in. They traded the first, they traded the second round pick. And we initially landed Xavier off of that trade. The trade pick that we got was that Xavier pick. So you really killed, two birds with one stone when it came to that trade. And, a lot of people don't look at it that way. But when you talk about James Pierce Jr. and why he slid, the reason they say was because of behavior reasoning, maturity or whatever it may be. Reports came out today that there was a couple of scrapples, out at Flowery Branch. The first one, not so serious. I'm going to read what this article says. Where'd it go? Give me 1 second, man. I'm trying to find it. I just had it. Okay, here we go. It says, what if the Falcons tank and it's a top 10 pick after they, traded their first and they're, blah, blah, blah. So the question is, what if James Pierce Jr. is a Pro Bowler? That's never the question when it comes to what could James Pierce Jr. be in Atlanta. It's always, what if James Pierce Jr. busts in Atlanta? So the thing is, it says Pierce was involved in a scuffle on back-to-back plays when he was lined up on the left side of the defense. The second play involving the Falcons starting right tackle, Caleb McGarry. Hence, Caleb McGarry's first day back to practice, he was not in the building for training camp to start. He had something to do with that heart procedure that he has every 4 years or whatever it may be. But Caleb McGarry is back now, making a presence, as they say here, his ogre mentality. It says Pierce went to the sidelines after the second scrum, and when he came back out, he was lined up on the right of the defense, going against swing tackle Storm Norton. Noted Storm Norton played a tremendous amount of tackle when Caleb McGarry was absent from Flowery Branch. So that, to me, signifies that is your second string there at tackle. It says, the following play, Pierce stood the ground, sealed the edge on the running play against Norton, and on the following play, he beat his man and elevated the knockdown a Kirk Cousins pass. Pierce showed first-round athleticism on the latter play and displayed a strength and will to do the dirty work on the former that he's not known for. There's still no tackling at camp, so there are no sacks. Several of Michael Pennix Jr. crowd-pleasing completions downfield would have been sacks or at the very least hits from James Pierce Jr. Guys, I'm telling you, James Pierce Jr. is making ruckus early in training camp. You hear about what Jaylen Walker's doing, and it's good. Everything is good coming out of camp right now, but James Pierce Jr. is really blowing these guys' hairs back, and it just if they could pull it off where James Pierce Jr. has the defensive rookie of the year, Terry has solidified a new contract, and that question is officially off the board.
Yep.
That is officially off the board. Terry his seat is back cold, no longer. And I'm not saying Terry is a hot seat candidate, but if the Falcons do tank this year, it's going to look at it that way because of missing the first round pick next year.
I mean, what it would take when people are saying this, what it would take for the Falcons to tank this year would be a catastrophe of Michael
a lot of
Pennix
injuries.
would have to get hurt. Bijan would have to get hurt. It'd have to be like something crazy. And not only that, then Raheem's not even here.
Exactly.
And this regime is probably completely done. So they stole going in, right? And so when people say that about JPJ and what we gave up for the 26th pick, I mean, really, we got a top 15 player for the 26th pick. And again, I don't know what people's problem is. Maybe it's basic math. Maybe they're using that new math. I don't understand. But 26 next year, 26 this year, it's the same thing. It doesn't matter. We just got him a year earlier because Raheem's like, we need to win now. We need this now. I need 2 guys now. So I don't think we really lost anything. I mean, we just traded a little bit early. Now, if the season does tank and we could have get a top 8, but listen, I tell people this all the time. I don't give a shit about 2026.
Exactly.
If we go 6 and whatever it is, 6-12 this year, I'm pissed off about this year. I'll worry about next year's draft whenever we get there. So I don't try to think about that. I'm trying to win this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to 3 Dirty in chat with it. Says DFU, what's up, fellas? 3 Dirty, glad to have you here in the chat with it, man. Y'all hit the like button. We got 18 live viewers over on YouTube, man. Y'all hit that like button. Leave a comment because we are going to get to every comment here as we go through this podcast. Cody, 3 Dirty here with it. My guy DSGB Hall is in the chat. He said, nice to see the support from the fan base at training camp. Hope it carries out through the season. Cody, you know, Rick, you as well. You guys are season ticket holders. You guys are at every home game throughout every season. You know, a lot of Falcon fans that I talked to on the Hill this past weekend were kind of complaining about. They were all seeing how packed Flowery Branch was, and it's because you have an event that's free. Obviously, there's no money being spent. Everybody's there having a good time. But they talk about the PSL ticket prices and how fans can't get to games because of how expensive games are. Cody, what would it mean if Falcons turned up and showed up to games like they did for Flowery Branch training camp, even though it is a free ticket? But if Falcon fans have attended these games like they do these free events, how packed the Benz could be and how hostile that environment could be that we really haven't had since the Benz has been built.
Yeah, man, it would be huge. I mean, say, like night games, man, like the Matt Ryan retirement, or not in retirement, but the Matt Ryan Ring of Honor thing. The Benz was rocking that whole time, and you could just tell. It makes a difference to these guys. Like, I understand that they're professional football players, and does it really make that much of a difference? Not really, because they're professionals and they can handle all that stuff. But it does give them a little bit more, and maybe it's that little bit more that really pushes them over the edge. Man, look, as a season ticket holder, do I like paying PSLs? No, I don't, because it's just more money that I've got to spend. But here's my thing: is I'm a Falcon fan. And if that's what I've got to do to be there, to support my squad, to be part of my team, and I understand, like, I'm not going to sit here. I know times can be tough, money can be tough. I get that, I really do. But to me, it's not even the fans that can't afford it not being there that's the issue. It's the fans that can't afford to be there that are there.
Well, another thing I found out was that a lot of fans have bought PSL tickets to the 300 section. And they sell those tickets to other fans or opponents, I should say, so they can get better tickets in the 100 section.
Right.
And I was thinking, I was like, I mean, I guess that's okay, but you don't know who you're selling these tickets to. Like, you're selling your seat to people that, maybe traveling to games. And we know we got a lot of people on the roster or on the list this year, like the Cowboys. They travel pretty well. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have those people in the bins and all I'm saying is PSL ticket holders, let's try to sell to Falcon fans. That would be sweet.
Well, and the thing is you can't even say that it's, there are Facebook groups, man, that are for us to sell to other Falcon fans. I mean, there are ways to make sure that those tickets get in Falcon fans, hands. And, I know that's kind of difficult and, might be a process, but I mean, again, it, supports a squad. You get more Falcon fans in there, less Cowboys, Saints, any of these other fan bases in there. But my thing isn't even so much of the people that can't be there because, I know they're expensive. I get it. I really do. The one that bothers me is the fans that are there and aren't in their seat, or they're still outside tailgate.
Yeah. Or
they're at the bar. Man, go get your beer, have your fun. There's a countdown to kickoff. When that thing's at, 2 minutes before kickoff, 3 minutes, really, I say about 5 minutes before kickoff happens, you should be in your seat, man. Like, that's just the way it is. And I know not all Falcon fans are diehard like the three of us are. Like, I mean, if somebody told me, if we take your left arm, for the Falcons to win a Super Bowl, are you doing it? Heartbeat, done. So I get it, but at the same time, there's a way to get into the bins, man. There's always a way to get in the bins for people. There just is. Like I say, I'm not going to comment on anybody's, status as far as that goes. I get it. They're expensive. If it's NFL, but Falcon fans, if you can control it, and there are ways, get those tickets to other Falcon fans.
Speaking of diehard Falcon fans, shout out to all the diehards that participated in this
sir.
picture here, man. Bunch of diehard Falcon fans, man.
Come
It's
on,
always
come on,
cool.
Eric
Not
Clark.
even, yeah, Eric. You got Demario here, man. You got Vinny in the back. You can see my head somewhere in this thing. I'm back to the top left. You got Berto 95 North came all the way from Rhode Island down in Atlanta to watch Falcons training camp. Carrie from One Time for the Fan came in from Florida to watch one time. And my guy Deep Ruffin, a very, very huge supporter of DFU. Shout out to Deep Ruffin. Got to meet him finally. Flew in from Cali Saturday morning. Actually came straight to the branch as soon as he landed. So shout out to Deep, man. Die
I didn't see where's Bird Lady, man? I didn't see her. Where's she at?
Oh shit! Oh,
I think she's sitting in isn't she in Fulton County jail right now?
but shout out to all the Falcon fans, man, that linked up
game.
and got some pictures with the diehards. A topic that we seem to talk about every offseason, man, and it seems to have just a little more twang to it this offseason. We're going to talk about it. It says, "It's hard not to get excited again." That's the title of this article. Stop me if you think you've heard this one before, but wide receiver, yes, I said wide receiver Kyle Pittz looks fantastic through the first week of camp. Pittz has taken individual drills with the wide receivers. He's lining up almost exclusively in the slot or out wide. He's been golfing buddies with the quarterback all summer, and maybe offensive coordinator Zach Robinson tagged along because the Falcons are finding ways to get the ball into Pitt's hands. Slants, posts, seams, even screens. And what's different this year is how he moves. Pitt has always been a long strider, but he's never been considered shifty or twitchy in today's vernacular. He took a screen pass and changed directions 3 to 4 times, showing a burst that we haven't seen from him since the rookie season. With Darnell Mooney sidelined with a shoulder injury, there were targets to be had for other receivers. Pittz and Ray stood up and stood out Sunday. McLeod called a go route up the left side on the 11 versus 11s and out route on the right side later on as well. Obviously reports came out, Darnell Mooney having shoulder injuries. You go out and sign the new receiver, Chark Jr., another good weapon there for Pennix, a nice depth move there. I'm hoping to see Mooney get back. But, guys, you hear the reports come out of camp once again about Kyle Pittz. Really, there's no more left to be said, but prove it. I mean, that's all you can say because that's really what it boils down to when it comes to contract talks and extensions. Cody, your thoughts on Kyle Pittz? You know, Terry talked about it this morning as well and said that they like that at the size that Kyle Pittz came in this year. They like at the I can't remember. It's just something about the physical appearance that Kyle Pittz brought to training camp this year. So, your thoughts on what Flyer Branch has been releasing, what these articles are speaking on, and what production can we expect from Kyle Pittz this year?
Yeah, man, I've said enough about Kyle Pittz. I'm kind of with everybody else. I'm kind of done talking about Kyle Pittz. I think to your point, Chase, my only words are prove it. I feel like this is the same thing that we fall into every year. It's like comes into training camp, looks like the unicorn that he's supposed to be, amazing plays, gets into preseason, looks like he's going to be something special. Don't see him again until tight end day.
Draft him in fantasy,
let you down. I'm a Falcon fan through and through. And my thing is if you're putting on the helmet and you're putting on the jersey, I will support you. I will ride with you. I want you to do well. I want you to do these things. I just do. Because if Kyle Pittz shows up and shows out, guess what? I want the Falcons to pay him. I want him to go get that contract. I want him to go make the Falcons make a hard decision. Do we keep him? Do we cut him? Do we trade him? What do we do with him? But Kyle has got to show me something this year. No more quitting on routes. Block your ass off. Drop the I just work here attitude, man.
Well, let me ask you this, Cody. How do you feel about seeing now that, it's Raheem's second year, Zach Robinson's second year? Last year he was moved, or the year prior he was moved to the tight end spot with Arthur Smith. Raheem came back. They kept him in that role. Now this year in the Zach Robinson offense, you see him back with the wideouts. What do you think about that situation? Do you think that's a plus for Kyle Pittz? Do you think that's I don't know what I'm trying to say, position battle mix? Like, is that a mismatch that they can get if Kyle Pittz is lined out wide?
No, I definitely think it's a good thing for Kyle Pittz because I think Kyle Pitt's mentality is that he wants to be the guy. Like he wants to be a Drake London. He wants to be he wants to be featured in this offense. And I think this is a great way to do it. But again, I think to me it boils down is like, how bad do you really want it? You know, because we all have that coworkers like, man, I deserve to be paid more. I should be paid more. But then they turn around and they don't work like they want to be paid more.
I know,
and that's
a couple
what the
of those.
situation I was saying, and that's the situation Kyle Pittz is in right now. It's like, I want to be the guy. I want to be the superstar. I want to be this, but then go out there and show me that on Sundays.
Right.
And I'm rooting for him to be that. Do I dislike Kyle Pittz? No. I dislike his attitude and his work ethic. But if he could show me something like, yeah, this is great for Kyle Pittz. This is, to me, this kind of shows me that the coach is like, okay, man, look, Kyle, this is your 5th-year option. It's make it or break it. Your prove it year, which, either you stay here in Atlanta or you're gone. And so this is, I think, the coach's way of being like, go be the guy that you want to be the superstar that you want to be. And this is your opportunity. So don't blow it. So all in all, man, I really hope Kyle Pittz takes the opportunity the coaches are giving him to, let him be that unicorn that, that we've heard that he can be and that we've seen when he had Matt Ryan here. Again, I will give him the benefit of the doubt with Desmond Ridder and he who shall not be named. I'll give you the benefit of that. But you've had a Kirk Cousins and now you've got a Michael Pennix.
What stood out to me, Cody, and we're in the same boat. I stand with you 100% on that take till this day about Kyle Pittz and where he's at. But what stands out to me is the fact, and Carlos kind of brought it back to my memory. He says Pitt's going to ball because Pennix is going to get him there. His first words in his introduction back to training camp was, "Got KP the ball today. Going to see a lot of that." So it's like, is Pennix really like about to prove the NFL? Hey, I got my tight end. Like we're about to show out. So that kind of excites me because there was the quarterback debacle in Atlanta for so many years. You had the Marcus Mariota. Kyle Pittz never had a steady quarterback until Matt Ryan. Not throwing excuses out for Kyle Pittz because we all know the lackluster play that Kyle Pittz brought at continuous times throughout the season. We've seen it. It's been there. It's on tape. I know the injury happened. And that was another thing that Terry brought up. He was like, Kyle Pittz has had the injuries, had the quarterback controversy. Now he has Pennix. Now he's hanging with Pennix. These guys are, hanging out together, training together. So maybe Carlo is right with this comment. Maybe Pennix is going to take Pittz there. Maybe that's what Pittz needs, is that Matt Ryan leadership that you could get in Michael Pennix this year. Rick, your thoughts on the connection with Pennix and Kyle Pittz?
I'll say the one thing I'll say about Pittz is something that my jiu-jitsu coach told me a long time ago. And he said, everybody wants to be a champion until it's time to do championship shit. And in that grind of that work, are you really willing to take that extra? Or how bad do you want it? You don't want it that bad. Right. I will say let's be fair. All of the Falcons' offensive weapons have been inconsistent, including the offensive coordinator. So not only you change, and this is what I used to say about Matt Ryan all the time. I can't believe Matt Ryan had the career he had with a new OC every 2 years.
Exactly.
Pat Mahomes had the same guy his entire career. Tom Brady, same guy his entire career. Like, that makes a major difference. And so when you take a player like Kyle Pittz, who was a unicorn athlete, he's 6'6", he's bigger, he's faster than everybody in college. He gets in the NFL, and that difference is a lot smaller. And now your coach, your quarterback's extremely inconsistent. Your OC, now you're changing plays. So I'm not making excuses for the guy, but I saw that with all the players. I mean, it might be Drake might be the only guy that it didn't affect.
Right.
He might, but I think my favorite part, this is hilarious. My favorite part about Kyle Pittz moving to wide receiver means Felipe Franks is our tight end too.
Shit. Lee, I see you Saturday. I looked over at a Falcon fan. I said, this guy cannot get away from the Falcons. He said, who are you talking about? I said, Felipe Franks. Like, he just somehow finds his way back on this roster every offseason. So
hey, man, I've been at the river drinking pina coladas all day. All right.
It's like, come on, Felipe. Show out. We know he can be a good special teams player. We've seen that. We know he can be a good special team. So we'll see what happens with Felipe.
And man, let me say this too. Like, I've been a Falcons fan for a long time. I've had season tickets since 2016. Every single except for 2016, maybe 2017 too, because they were pretty consistent. I found myself, because the announcer always says, stand up, get loud, third down, all that bullshit. And you know what I say to him? Make a damn play.
Yep.
Do your job and then I'll cheer and I'll do what I'm supposed to do. And I'll say that for the entire Falcons franchise.
That's true.
Like, I've done my part as a fan. And when they talk about fans don't show up, I'm there an hour early before every game. When there's a big game and this team is winning, the fans show up.
Oh, yeah, every time.
It's the team's fault because you embarrass us. Bro, I'm a season ticket holder getting embarrassed. I'm like, I can't even believe I just posted this on my social media looking like a fool. And I get DMs, people talking shit. 28-3, same old shit. Right? You're doing it to us. And then you want to ask me to spend my extra money on it? Right? And I think that's where the battle is. If we had consistency and reliability, and let's be honest, in the past 5 to 8 years, like, the way we lose has been embarrassing. It's not like, hey, we're right down the wire. Like, losing that Washington game, not even mad about that.
No, that was a good game.
Kansas City game, not mad about that. But the kick on Dallas and the 28-3 and the fumble and the 3 missed kicks and like
the kick on Dallas may be worse than 28-3.
You know, the bomb that was thrown to PJ Walker hit that bomb, Carolina. I know we came back and won that game because of penalty.
DJ Moore,
like embarrassing plays where it's like, are we even a professional franchise right now? So to me, I think there's a lot of that's in people's heads where, like, I go around Atlanta all the time. People are embarrassed to be Falcons fans. They don't even really say it like they should be able to say it. You know what I mean? Like, no, I'm a Steelers fan. No, I'm a Cowboys fan. No, I don't rock with Atlanta. The only reason they're saying that is because Atlanta embarrasses the fans on TV. And so we fix that part, and I think you'll see people in the stands. I think but the players got to execute.
Speaking on fixing things, players executing, coaches doing their jobs, a lot of the problem last year, and this was a topic that me and Philip chatted about last night at the Dave & Buster's. Shout out to D&B, man. I had a good time at Dave & Buster's with a fan. But we talked about the fact of Raheem Morris. Hashtag not affiliated with Dave & Buster's. But we was talking about the fact of, could Raheem Morris take the second step this year at the head coach position? Could Raheem Morris be better at time management this year when it really mattered? Because, guys, let's be for real. Let's keep it a buck on the podcast. There was at least 3 games that we lost because of clock management. And in very big games when it came to the NFC stance of where we were at and how we would end the season was because of certain games like that. And it always happens like I can remember it was week 3 or week 4 and we were playing an NFC team and I was just on the wall about this game. My wife's like, why are you so upset? It's so early in the season. Like, they have such a long season. Like, because this game is going to be the one game that keeps us out of the playoffs. Like, it's going to be this one game. And it always seems to be that way. Shout out to Krista over on YouTube. Says, hey, Chase. Shout out to Miss Krista. She was going to hook me up with the ticket Saturday, but I ended up finding somebody that had extra. Diehard Falcon fan. She attended training camp as well. Shout out to Miss Krista. She got a picture with the man, Chris Lindstrom. So I know she had a good time out on the hill as well as other Falcon fans.
Speaking of fixing things, from our announcers, and I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but this is one thing that really bugs me about when we do have the announcer trying to hype us up as to get loud on shit. Can we stop doing that like a minute and 30 seconds before the other team fucking snaps the ball?
Can we do this?
Can we do that like 35 seconds? Because I'm so tired. My throat.
Can we, as a fan base? Because I've been on a couple of road games and New Orleans really is what made me think about it. But I watched these games on TV like the Vikings and the Lions and all these teams. Almost every professional NFL team has a chant song, but the Falcons. Like, why don't we have a chant? Like, I mean, even if it is like we come up with one as a fan base, but like, we ready? I mean, it's a good song. Like, it's a good song, and it gets the crowd hyped. But that's not a chant. Like, we should have a chant after every touchdown. We should be hollering at a chant, even if it's ATL Falcons. Something. You know what I'm saying? Anything, like just anything, but we don't. And that brings so much hype and energy to those players out in the field when you get the crowd behind you.
Or find a way to, like, the swag surf seems to be like a fan favorite. Like, find a way to get that going. Like, instead of doing the damn wave, like mid-game, having everybody doing it.
Yeah.
I don't know. You got to do something.
I feel like we could do better as a. I don't know if that falls on marketing or if that falls on I don't know who that falls on, but I feel like we could do better in that aspect as Falcon fans. Miss Chris said, had a great time. Love to hear it. Carlos said, the onside kick against Dallas, I was in my hotel in Arkansas and sprinted to the Planet Fitness 2 miles up the street to join the gym that day. I was so pissed. It was bad, man. It was bad. That was very embarrassing to go back to work and listen to Dallas fans.
Try having a dad that's a Cowboys fan that wouldn't stop about that.
Crystal said they said there was like 4,000 people there yesterday.
Wow.
I think it was more today. I know Saturday morning, one of the safe security guards I was talking to got there at 6 o'clock. Still wasn't the first one at the gate, by the way. 2 guys from North Carolina got there at 4 o'clock that morning. So a shout out to those fellows. But I was chatting with a lady, and she said that Saturday over 16,000 tickets were claimed for Saturday's event. So I don't know how many of those people turned out, but that's a lot of tickets to be claimed for a training camp.
If we want to see what the city's about, September 7th, first game, the height of excitement. If you're not there, then you're right.
Exactly.
But if we are there, then it's on the team's performance.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
So,
absolutely.
Man, I hope we come out week 1 just smack the living shit out of the Bucks, man. Could you imagine?
Set the tone.
That would be the perfect storm right there. You come in week 1, everybody's hyped, and you just absolutely pistol whip the Buccaneers. You blow them out 43 to 20.
Well, can we speak on, we talk about, blowing teams out, and really, you didn't have a game like that really until Pennix took control of the offense against the Giants. But can the Falcons do that week 1? Can we come out there and show dominance against the NFC South opponent? Because the Falcons, not only, we always get slander, but the Falcons were ranked like 26 in offensive weapons. Out of 32 teams, they ranked the Atlanta Falcons 26. Let's not mention that Bijan Robinson landed like number 63 on the top 100 list.
Yeah.
Did they finally rank him?
63, 65, something like that. Like, this guy's a top 10.
Yeah.
This guy's a top 10 in the league. And shout out to the Honey Badger. I know he's a New Orleans Saints player and all that. He may have retired this year, but he was like, there's a guy in Atlanta that wears number 7, and there's nobody else like him. Like, there's just nobody else in this league.
Saquon came out and said, I love myself, but there is not a person in the league that cuts like Bijan Robinson.
Yeah. Yeah, he said, he was like, you can fight with your mama about that.
Yep.
And he's still untapped potential.
Yep.
He still has had a guy around him that could have a passing offense going on to where he could really break free. He was still the focal point of the offense.
Yep.
And he was still making the plays. So, and he's splitting time with another guy who's getting 800 to 1,000 yards.
Well, and could you imagine if you get him and Tyler Algier out on the field and you don't know who it's going to, and you get Tyler? Man, was it Mateo that had the idea of running
the fullback
idea, man?
And I'll be damned if the next game they didn't put Tyler Algier at fullback.
Yeah.
Cody, I will say one thing that I did see, talking about having the dual package with both running backs in the backfield. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of pistol formation with Tyler Algier and Bijan both in the backfield. There was also a lot of dink and dunks like you've seen back in 2016 with the Coleman and Freeman edition, which we know Tyler Algier and Bijan both do very well.
Right.
So I was talking to a fan, and I was like, dude, what is the ceiling for this Atlanta Falcons team's running game? Like, what could the ceiling be for the Falcons? Like, how many yards is Bijan racking this year? And he was like, easily on the ground, I'm giving Bijan 15. I said, what are you giving Tyler Algier? He said 1K. I said, we're the number 1 seed in the NFC South.
Oh,
easily. If Tyler Algier nears 1K on the ground and Bijan's at 15, the NFC South is locked down. The Falcons are taking it. There's no other way. There's no way you don't take the South with 2 running backs on 1K.
We're controlling the clock too, which means we have a lead, which means our defense is holding. There's just so many things that lead into that.
So if Zach Robinson can figure out how to get this passing game and this running game, almost like what Ben Johnson did in Detroit, now he's with the Bears. But if we can mimic what that was like this year, and you get production from a Kyle Pittz at the tight end, man, and a lot of people are forgetting about Charlie Warner. I mean, this guy Charlie Warner is a baller as well. So I'm excited.
Everybody sitting here that's thinking that Bijan couldn't touch 2. Man, would it at the end of the year if Bijan hit 2,000 yards rushing? I'm not going to be shocked. I'm going to be like, yeah, no, I figure as much. I mean, Bijan's something else, dude. Like, dude, that was like my biggest factor that I took from day one. Day one training camp. If we were to go back and talk about what veterans stood out in training camp, Bijan would probably be at the top of that list. Day one made these players look silly, dude. Like, I mean, and you hear the rumors come out that he trained with Christian McCaffrey this offseason. You've seen what kind of work he's put in this offseason. And year 3 for Bijan, it's about to be the best. It's about to be
1,900 total yards last year.
See,
and again, still, I felt like left a lot out there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot.
Yes, he's definitely special. I would say, and how many times and let's be honest too, with Bijan, I feel like people get really lucky because how many times we almost see Bijan, break a 70-yard and just somebody happens to get a shoestring tackle.
You really seen like you started to see those big runs in Bijan's career year 2 towards the end, like against the Saints, against those, like you had that last game of the season against Saints. Bijan takes it to the house, and it's like you're starting to see those big runs, and it's almost like, okay, now this is 1 year with Zach Robinson. What could year 2 be like with Zach Robinson? You've seen what these players produce. Drake London, his first ever 1K. Darnell Mooney, 10 yards, I believe it was, from 1K. Kyle Pittz, over 500 yards. Still a decent season for a tight end. You also have Bijan Robinson with 1,900 yards on the season. Like, what could year 2 be for Pennix and this offense? I'm excited to see what happens. I'm excited to see what, people talk about how good Pennix was in college with the ball, how his turnover rates were so low compared to his touchdowns. That's what I'm excited to see. It's a fresh start for Pennix. It's a fresh slate. You don't have to worry about proving yourself in 4 games. You have a whole season to make it happen. And you see that almost on Pennix here in training camp. He looks way more relaxed, way more in the flow of things. And it's almost like the comfortability is there. We got one more topic before we close the show up. We're at 50 minutes. We'll close it with the topic on Pennix and Kirk Cousins. It says, let me pull it up. It's right here. Bear with me.
Yeah, while you're working on that, man, consider too, we went a season and a half without play action, or a season and 3/4 without play action, really. And we couldn't stretch the field for the past 3 years. I mean, I know Kirk hit Mooney on a couple here and there, but we weren't really stretching the field at all. And so now when we start to spread that out, I think Bijan in open space is the most dangerous player. And that's what we got to figure out.
Well, on top of that too, man, think about what this offense could be. You have a Drake London, a Darnell Mooney, a Bijan Robinson, a Tyler Algier, a Kyle Pittz, a Charlie
Warner, the sleeper of it all, Cody. After all those targets that you just named, the sleeper of it all, Ray McCloud.
Yeah, and Ray McCloud. I mean, think about those guys.
Don't forget
right there,
Cardell Hodge.
Yes, I mean, dude, this offense could be. And that's one thing I want to bring up too before we get into Pennix. And man, Pennix coming out with just that. I don't want to say that swagger, man, coming out and being like, look, this offense could be number 1 in everything. And he's not wrong. Look at what we've got on that offensive side. Like, I mean, just, again, Mooney, Drake, Bijan, Tyler.
Did you hear the praise that he had for Bijan and how special of a player Bijan is to the Atlanta Falcons? Like, he's like, when you're in Little League and there's always that one player that stands out, he's like, that's Bijan every game. So, I mean, you hear the chemistry already in year 2 for Pennix with Bijan, with Drake. You've seen that in 4 games with Drake London. You kind of started seeing that with Pittz there towards the end, the game-winning touchdown in Washington. He throws it to Pittz, So the confidence level is there in Pennix and these throws, and I'm excited to see what year 2 could be. It says, and this is early in training camp, guys. So everything is not going to key in on what happens in training camp and translate to the season. That's the goal. But it says Pennix hunts. His eyes are on the back of the defense, and he has the power in his left arm to push the ball downfield. He wants big plays and chunk yards. And in practice environment in July, why not? He is constantly looking for an open finding the deep routes, much to the excitement of the fans in attendance. Cousins, on the other hand, checks down. Granted, Cousins isn't throwing to Drake London, Pittz, or McCloud, but most of his throws are checkdowns and appears to be going through the motion. Pennix can learn later during camp that discretion can be the better part of valor, but for now, Pennix is hunting downfield. So when you hear that, how do you feel about your quarterback taking those deep shots now instead of, like Kirk, taking the checkdowns, going with the flow, learning the offense? Is this a good thing that Pennix is always looking for the big play, or is this could be something we fall in week 5? Hey, we got to check the ball down. We got to take that first down. We can't go for that big play.
At this point, man, I think that's kind of one of the things that we've been missing since Matt Ryan, is that home run play that, I mean, again, this is coming back to the fans and, us succeeding. Like here in Atlanta, we're all about flash and we're all about bling. I mean, Atlanta's a show city, man. And if you can bring that, I think it's a good thing, because I think that's honestly one of the things that we've missed the most here in Atlanta is that deep ball. what was it, a couple of years ago? Like we were almost dead last in yard or plays that went over 20 yards.
Yep.
I mean, we're missing that. Like, I mean, think about like when Michael Vick was here, it was the excitement that brought those fans around, brought fans, that were like, the hell with PSLs and, ticket prices and stuff like that. And they showed up because they wanted to see that excitement. And I think if, Michael Pennix can bring that with, Drake or, Darnell, man, the possibilities of this offense just being explosive and exciting like that 16 team, it's going to bring fans back, and that's what we need. So
players like this is going to bring fans.
The check down and stuff is going to be important too, but I think that Pennix is going to be smart enough to know, hey, man, I've got to check it down when I've got to check it down, because he does have a Kirk Cousins who's, can check, nickel and dime you and, paper cut you to death. And so he's learned that from Kirk, and that's good. So that's going to fix that facet. But I do love seeing the deep ball, man. I would say it's something Atlanta needs. Yes, absolutely.
There's something about that left arm.
Yep.
The spiral that comes off that ball is crazy. I forgot to mention the Falcons did make a cut early on in training camp. Kevin King is no longer an Atlanta Falcon. I don't know why that cut was made, but he was not at Flowery Branch day one, and needless to say, Kevin King was cut very shortly after that. So I don't know the situation there, but a guy that I thought was going to be a battler no longer with the team. So that so far is the cuts. I'm sure more to come this week. You'll have a good cluster of cuts coming up. But if you guys don't have anything else, that you want to chat about, that will be our 1 hour episode. We're about to wrap it up here on the podcast. You guys got anything else?
I would say about the wide receiver thing. I like that we're going for the deep ball. That to me, and I saw this last year with Pennix, I think they're very confident from 0 to 15 yards. Like, hey, we could go to third down because I think we can get the 15 with Drake with a little post across the middle. Bijan can get 8 almost guaranteed. So I think they're now like, and I don't remember who it was. I don't know if it was JJ Watt or somebody, but I watched an interview where he's like, look, you can't look too much into that because when he snaps the ball on 11 on 11, it's not like a game time situation. It's like, hey, against this coverage, can we hit this play? And I want you to just focus on that. And it could be no knock on Kirk. Again, I'm not trying to knock Kirk, but maybe they might tell him, hey, our second time defense has a real problem with checkdowns. Like, I need you to just get So they're playing roles and hitting little things and working with the D coordinator. Maybe the corners are giving up too many big plays and they're like, hey, let's keep doing it until they figure it out. So I don't look too much into that, but we definitely need that back in Atlanta stretching the field for sure.
Absolutely. Shout out to you, Southside Ricky. We could not do the show without you guys, man. You guys keep this show running. It says great show. Keep up the content. Keep supporting, brother. Keep supporting. We'll keep putting out the content, man. We appreciate you being here and rocking with us from the beginning. He was here at the beginning of the show, man. Shout out to Southside, man. Yeah, definitely tell your friends and let's get this podcast to 1K, man. We're at like 556 or 57 right now. So 1K is close, man. I smell it. It's on the way. It's coming this season. Falcon fans, man, shout out to everybody that tuned in tonight, man. We appreciate you guys. Real quick, just give a rundown of just quick pictures of training camp before we close out. Obviously, Kobe Bryant, the guy himself, Jaylen Walker, Coup, the guy TQ Graham is in the building, and also Terry and Raheem gave a speech for welcome back together, whatever day they called that. But yeah, man, training camp so far has been a blast. Can't wait to see what else comes out. This podcast was much needed, man. I've been itching to do a podcast. We've been trying to do it all weekend, but things have not lined out. We were able to do it tonight. So thank you guys for coming through. As always, man, shout out to the comment section. Shout out to everybody that's liked, subscribed, commented. We appreciate you guys. Cody, shout outs for tonight's show.
Yeah, shout out to you guys getting on here and talking Dirty Bird football. Nothing better. Man, shout out to everybody that likes, comments, keep doing it, man. We're going to keep pushing out content. Football season Dirty Bird football season is right around the corner, man.
12 days, guys. 12 days from preseason.
Oh, man. I can't wait. I'm so excited. But, so shout out to, everybody, continues to watch and support us. We're going to keep pushing out Falcon content. It's about to ramp up. Again, shout out to you boys coming on and talking Dirty Bird football. Shout out to the wife out there, watching too. But, guys, as always, rise up.
Rise up, Cody. It's always a pleasure to talk Dirty Bird football with the boys. Rick, shout out for tonight, brother.
I'm going to shout out to everybody who shows up to Flowery Branch. I know it's hot. Other things you could be doing during the week, and you guys show out and show a lot of support, show a lot of enthusiasm. That helps the players. That helps Raheem, building confidence. I heard you guys yelling for Terry. Like, I love that because that man's been getting beat up for the past 3 or 4 years. So when people do the right thing, you support them and give them love just as much as you give them hate. So shout out to everybody who's doing that. I can't make it, so I appreciate you guys showing up there for us. And then I hope this isn't the last time I say this, but shout out to all the national media that has given Falcons fans TV time, because I've been watching clips online. It gets me excited. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
That's not Harry Douglas was on one of them, but it's not just our guys talking about us. And they're actually showing us some love, like the Good Morning Football guys and all of that. So appreciate that, because it gives us something to watch. Like, Atlanta fans are hungry for media. We want to consume this content. So we really appreciate you guys putting that stuff out and showing us some love and helping us build that hype and excitement for the 2025 season.
Absolutely, guys. Thank everybody that came through, man. Episode 152 is a wrap, guys. We are going to get up out of here. Once again, thank you guys for tuning in, hitting that like button, comment, interacting with DFU. Ring that bell so you know when we go live. We will be live again Friday night at 8 if all goes well and the schedule lines up. Friday night at 8. DFU will be back with some breaking content. If not, maybe earlier on in the week if we get some breaking news from camp. So stay tuned, ring the bell, and you don't have to worry about it because you'll get a notification. Shout out to everybody that's here, man. A-Town down, rise up. We appreciate you guys. We out.